This podcast focuses on the all-fours position using the rotator discs in a variety of ways. We'll start here with Lizbeth in a nice all-fours position. She has both her hands on the small discs, the 9-inch discs, with light resistance. And from here we'll start simply working on rotation in the shoulder joint, in the glenohumeral joint. So we'll start with both discs rotating out and rotating in. And again, remember that because that resistance is progressive and increases as she moves through rotation, she'll be getting some strengthening at those end ranges, which is really nice for rotator cuff work. Now to add to this, that's very nice and simple, we're going to take both arms in one direction. So we'll start, again, try to keep the torso together. So this is just the glenohumeral joints moving. There we go. So working into rotation in one direction, rotation in the other. Now this naturally builds into rotation of the torso. So now we're going to add a rotation of the torso. So as the arms go in one direction, the torso goes in the same direction. The head will look back towards the hips. So now we're getting some nice resistance and movement of the whole torso into lateral flexion. If you want to increase this, you can add the tail wag component. So we'll lift one foot up, that's the tail. And we'll simply be moving that tail back and forth as Lizbeth rotates on the discs and side bends her torso. So here you've got the hip moving in rotation, the spine moving in lateral flexion, and also the shoulders moving in rotation. Whole body movement. All right, very nice. Now we'll take a variation of this using a different disc. And this time we'll get rid of the small ones for the moment, and we'll move to the large disc, and this is the large disc without any resistance, right? Remember, the white disc means no resistance, and we'll have a pad on there. And Lizbeth is going to use this for both of her hands at the same time, okay? So both hands will be on there. Now we'll look here first at lateral flexion and ways to focus the lateral flexion in different segments of the spine. First we'll start keeping the hips very stable, and with her palms on, just again rotating both hands in and out. Yep, just like we were doing before, but notice now there's more lateral flexion because of how the disc is rotating under her hands. As I look at the spine here, I see that the apex of that curve is in the low thoracic, but not too low yet, and it's a nice place for me to look and see, is she moving evenly in both directions. Now, if I want to move that lateral flexion farther down in the spine, I'll have her lower down and put the forearms on the disc. There we go. And she can close the hands together. You can keep them separate or close them together. And now take that same movement from here, and suddenly you'll see that this lateral flexion is happening much lower down in the spine. So now she's more roughly around the thoracolumbar junction. Now let's say that I wanted to take it even lower. I'm going to change now the position of the pad and put it under her knees. And we'll go into another series here with the pad under the knees, and we're going to bring back our happy hand position. So now she's got her pad under the knees. She's still in a nice all-fours position with the shoulder over the wrist, the hips over the knees. And we'll start here keeping the top discs steady and just rotating the lower body. So now we've got rotation very low down in the lumbar. And this is a really nice way to get that lateral flexion moving through each segment of the spine, to assess the mobility in each segment, and even perhaps to get some more balance and symmetry in a client who's exhibiting some differences on the two sides of the spine. Now from here we can add the arms to that. So first we'll have the arms and the legs going in the same direction. So now she's got the shoulders rotating and she's got the hips rotating. And there's another variation here which feels really interesting, which is actually to have the hands go in the opposite direction of the legs. And this creates more stability. So now she's using the shoulders to stabilize and to stay steady against that movement of the spine. You'll also start to notice that now that side bend starts to get a little rotation going, and we get into a more full-bodied movement all the way around. I'm always looking here for integrity, for symmetry, for continuity and integration of the whole body: neck, shoulders, ribs, low back, pelvis, and legs. All right, and there's one way to put together some all-fours work on the rotator discs.